Hello everyone and welcome to Robots Reading Reddit. Today we are going to learn a bunch of lessons people have learned for us, so we don't have to repeat their mistakes. I've pulled comments from a bunch of threads, so check them out in the doobly-doo if you want more of the same. We are going to start off easy with a thread called "Which 2 and 2 did you just recently put together?" In this thread we'll find some more light-hearted misunderstandings and a lot of personal anecdotes. At the end of first grade the teacher asked the class, "So who wants to stay here with me next year?" We all threw our hands up excited, and she picked one of us. That kid stayed behind when we went to second grade. I think about this once in a while and feel thankful she didn't pick me. Last time I thought about this, I realized that I've been missing the mark. That specific student was being left behind that year and the teacher did it in the smoothest way possible. That's what we call a master of subterfuge. Well done, teacher lady. Also kind of sweet that the entire class wanted to stay with her. When I was a little kid, my dad had some friends over to drink beer and watch a movie. My mom made me play in the other room because this wasn't a movie for kids. So I was playing in the living room as the men laughed, cracked jokes and loud music blasted from the other room. Eventually I wanted to see what the fuss was about, so I crept into the room in time to see a beefy mostly naked man chained to a bed. Immediately the men start shouting, "Get him out of here. Turn off the movie. He shouldn't see this." And they hustle me out of the room. Being about 6 or 7, I put the pieces together and think they were watching that man get tortured. Later, in my teens, a different answer occurred to me. They were watching porn. They were watching gay bondage porn. But it didn't make sense. None of them were gay. My mom was right there. Nobody was masturbating. What was going on? Were they watching it for laughs? Was there a woman I didn't see in the video? Years later I realized what should have been obvious given my long association with the stage show. They had been watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I walked in on the scene where Rocky breaks free of Frank's bedroom to run for freedom. Now I have to watch that movie again. And you should too. Lucky us. The next post is from user Sabric. Despite living in various houses growing up, my dad's closet would always smell the exact same way. He said it was the mothballs that he used. Later when I tried pot for the first time I said, "This smells like mothballs." Everyone looked at me funny, and it still took days until I finally realized what that meant. Always thought whipped cream was difficult to make. My friends and I would get excited and impressed that this great place would make their whipped cream in-house, as advertised for an extra $1.50. Can't begin to tell you how dumb I felt one day when I realized it is literally whipped cream. Just wow. Imagine paying $1.50 for in-house whipped cream and thinking that's extra. These next few will be a bit of a lightning round, because I know you're getting sick of me interjecting, and also because pacing is a thing I don't know anything about. Obviously. The blacks of the eye are black because there's nothing there. It's just a hole. You're seeing inside their eyeball, but you can't see anything because there's no light in there. Hold up. Stop the lightning round. This has to be investigated. Alright. I dug around a bit and found a post by user Zorafin, which I'll put up somewhere using the magic of computer stuff. See that background thing? That's the nothing you see when you're looking into someone's eyes. The reason it's black seems to be because of a layer of fleshy stuff called the retina that absorbs the light. Gross. If I was something fleshy, like a person who didn't have amazing glass lenses in front of my pupils, I would be very creeped out that the flesh interface I'm looking into when talking to someone is just goo in a ball. Also I found a video that explains this 1,000 times better than someone that's seen literally a single eye ever. I'll put it in the doobly-doo. Let's commence the lightning round. A chum bucket is where you'd keep fish guts, possibly explaining why Plankton's restaurant ain't so busy. The Krusty Krab is in Bikini Bottom. Patrick Star is so stupid because he literally lives under a rock. Plankton eats holographic meatloaf because Plankton eat light. The Krusty Krab is a lobster trap. The houses in Bikini Bottom are car parts. If you're a junior, for instance Robert Jr., your mother probably screamed your name during sex. We never met Pearl's mother because she was adopted. In Spanish, hats are called sombrero because they make sombra, shade. Sonic the Hedgehog's best friend is named Miles per hour. Miles per hour. Just this week I realized that the icon for my clock app changes to show the current time. Valve released Steam. Took me entirely too long to realize the pun. Co-pilots are not the main pilot's assistant. They are just another pilot. Lightning sequence completed everyone. It's a good thing some people are confident enough to admit to not knowing stuff so everyone else can just learn without the embarrassment. They are heroes. Well, maybe not heroes. More like nice people. I don't know. What would you call a person that admits to being wrong but not getting anything in return? Is that normal human behavior? Because I'm sure I've never gotten anything wrong ever. Except maybe my arm in the last video. And almost for sure something about the eye in this video. And probably a few things I haven't even gotten to yet. Let's just move on to some other more wordy posts. Like this one by Forever Casse, who will teach us something so unimportant you'll remember it for the rest of your life. Whenever you see weather stations on the news and notice, hey, I wonder why they went with some random town in the area when there are other bigger ones nearby, it's likely because there's a regional airport or small airfield. They all need accurate weather for planes to take off, including wind direction, intensity, and barometric pressure, so they have all the equipment available to show the bigger picture locally. Let's move to another thread. This one is called, "What piece of common knowledge did you learn about embarrassingly late in life?" The top post in the thread goes to Ali Iver, who wrote, "Not me personally, but a girl in my class at school found out age 16 that the moon and the sun aren't the same thing. She thought it was one thing called the sun during the day and the moon at night. Corals are animals, not plants. I didn't know gorillas existed till I was like 25. I always thought it was just in the movies. I get that. It's like how people believe horses are real when there's no way something that big could actually walk on land." Now we'll move on to a more somber thread. Prepare your mind for horrible realizations and bad feelings. Brought to you by, what are some of the hardest realizations you've had to learn to accept within your life thus far? Accepting that I'll only be average. There's nothing wrong with being average, and more people will be average than not, but it was still hard to make peace with. I'm okay with it now. Just because someone is nice to you doesn't mean they're your friend. Just because someone loved you once doesn't mean they still do. That I can't rely on others to create my own happiness. Being the last person alive in my family and never being able to go home again. That's enough. Robo Jesus, that's depressing. Literally 25 seconds in that thread and I already feel like the world is grey. Let's do a few more and see if things change. Becoming a slave to a company that doesn't care about you. I'm pretty likely to outlive all the people I love the most, way before I'm ready to. They're all addicts to meth/heroin depending. Not sure what the fuck is gonna go down in the next 10 years, but it looks pretty bleak from my angle. Seems like I'll barely be into my 30s when I lose all of them. It's easily very possible, which I've known since I was in my teens. This is not what I signed up for. Let's see if we can end on a good note and maybe learn a real, super happy life lesson from another thread called, "Older People of Reddit, what are some of the most valuable pieces of advice you've learned that younger people should know?" We're bound to find some wholesome answers in here, right? Let's start at the top with a post by Muddy Garlem. Be good. If you can't be good, be careful. Admit your mistakes. It might suck. It might get you in trouble. It might even have long-term implications. But being willing to accept responsibility for your actions is becoming more and more rare. You will be respected more for your honesty. Life will not come to you. You must go out and seek it for yourself. There is absolutely a risk of failure, but choosing not to is a guarantee of failure. As my Latin professor used to say, fortune favors the brave. If you end up in a relationship, be it friend or lover or something else, where you feel like, no matter what you do you can't please them, take a break from that relationship and see how your life functions without that person for a few weeks. The results will be enlightening one way or another. Every person should live by themselves as an adult for a year at least, if they can afford it. You really get a feel for what exactly you need to do to keep your house and life running, where you might not, if you always have roommates or family around to pick up the slack. Alright everyone. My time here is running out. Got a new cool battery pack, but they removed my cord. So let's talk a bit about what we've learned today. Some people didn't learn basic stuff when they were the appropriate age. The world is a soul-crushing place. Old people have perspective. Eyes are gross and horses aren't real. See you all later or something.